Have you kneeled down in the protest with the peaceful protesters yourself? What's your take on the quote, "The police department is the biggest gang in America"? Why are cops using aggressive force? Alrighty, what's up everybody? Welcome to a very special COVID Empanada right here, Jutting Out Radio. We here at COVID Empanada try to stand on the side of justice and equality. So, especially speaking as a minority, standing in solidarity to and acknowledging the injustices happening to the black community, we're bringing on Officer Jayy onto the show. And we're just going to go ahead and talk to him a little bit and have a little open conversation on what is kind of going on right now through his eyes and just seeing what is going on the field. So if you have any questions, we already took a lot of the questions already. We do have questions ready for Officer Jayy. And so when he gets on, we can go ahead and get on. Welcome to COVID Empanada Radio. Everybody, this is Officer Jayy of LAPD.
Josh Cervantes. I'm out of Wilshire Division right now. I'm coming up on 6 years in October. I born and raised in LA. Actually, I work the area where I grew up in, which is kind of cool.
Dang, that's what's up. I mean, and that just goes to show, like, you're from the city. And being that you're from the city, this is your people. So there is a connection. You're not just some force or something like that. This is one of the people that I've met outside. And this guy was an awesome person. This guy was definitely a respectable person and someone that I didn't really see that he was part of the force until I saw that on his Instagram story, and that brought me so many questions. So everybody, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, jayyjayy797 in the house right here.
I don't know about a legend. I'm just a regular old copper. That's it.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for coming on to the show, bro. I appreciate you. Do you have work later on today or?
Yeah. So as of now, all our days off are canceled. So even if you were on vacation, they called everybody in. No days off till further notice.
Let's talk about that first, as that still being a job. It still is a regular job. You have to get your days off and there's overtime. As of right now, how's that working for you? You told me a little bit about it yesterday, but I just want to enlighten the people.
Yeah, so the department went on to what we call mobilization, which on a normal basis, we have 4 different shifts. We have a day shift, we have a morning mid shift, we have a PM mid shift, and then we have like the graveyard. So both day shift and graveyard are 12-hour shifts. Both in between shifts are 10-hour shifts. But as of now, they changed it to a A and B watch. So both shifts are 12-hour shifts minimum.
How intense is it out there, and how long do you expect to think that it's going to be like this?
As of now, as of yesterday or even the day before yesterday, it hasn't been as intense as maybe Friday and Saturday and even Sunday. Saturday was probably one of the worst days, and then Sunday was maybe like leftover from whatever happened on Saturday. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I think rumors are that it's anticipated to last quite some time, maybe at least another week or so. We just don't know. We really don't know. It's one of those answers that we can't really, or one of those questions we can't really answer. We don't know when a riot is gonna end, right?
For example, curfew. Like, what does the curfew mean? Like, let's say, for example, you need to go out and get groceries or something like that. Like, how does that work out?
It's an interesting question, and it's one of those things that we've also came to realize that it trying to just put things into perspective. There was a post out there that I saw, and it said something along the lines like, it kind of sucks to get caught because once curfew is implemented, so let's say as of a few days ago, it was 6 o'clock, and then they changed it to like 9 o'clock, and then apparently I woke up to a message saying that the mayor lifted the curfew starting today. Which who knows how much that's gonna like play a part into either looting again, because obviously there's not gonna be a curfew.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a few people where once we determined we're gonna take down a block, we completely block it off on both sides. Curfew is implemented, everybody's going to jail. If you're just driving through that one block and you just get caught in between the mix, I mean, you're still going to jail, even though you're not part of the protest, you're not part of the looting. But hey, you were out there, and yeah, you're still going to jail. Which, on our side, the way we've switched it around, it's like, okay, well, yeah, this incident happened in Minnesota, and for one or for a few officers, everybody is paying for it. Then, yeah, why don't you put that into perspective as well? Like, yeah, you're just driving down this street, and for a few, you're paying for it now, which is kind of unfair, right? If you really think about it. But I'll tell you, man, a lot of the people that have been arrested um, are from out of state. Some people like from like way, like not even close to like being in California, to mention the least. And it was an eye opener because, like they say, a lot of people come from other states just to come and loot our city, our state, and then just bounce and leave like nothing ever happened to them, you know? So now we're left behind in our own city that it has been trashed pretty much.
Right. Do you think these people that are getting arrested were they there for the protest, or were they there specifically to just cause chaos?
It's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell. I know Friday when I was in downtown, um, there was 39 people or so that got arrested on one of the times that we blocked off a street. And I want to say that more than half were looters.
Switching it up a little bit, just like coming to being that you are out there on the field while protesting is happening. Like, is it a lot of angry people, or what do you see from your perspective?
I think, like I said, I think the first few nights was definitely a lot of anger, and I think even still now. But when I was in Hollywood yesterday, like their squad leaders or whatnot, you want to call them, they were on the speakers saying like, "Hey, let's just keep walking. We're not here to cause any trouble anymore. From now on, it's going to be peaceful protests." But I mean, obviously that can always change. It only takes one person to kind of ruin it for the entire crowd. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
One of the questions coming out when I asked the question to ask you was, have you kneeled down in the protest with the peaceful protesters yourself?
No, and
Is it?
and to be quite honest, I won't. Um, it, it's a political statement, and it would be completely out of policy for me to do it in uniform. Um, Although I can respect people's decision to protest and have their own beliefs, that's me out of uniform. I completely respect it. Obviously, we have a right to protest, but when you're in uniform, you can't make political statements. You can't be biased. You can't be employed by a city or be employed by a state and still expect to be able to voice your opinion while you're in uniform. That just can't happen.
Why are cops using aggressive force?
To be honest, it's a pretty broad question. I can only speak on behalf of the people that I've been working next to. I can't speak for the entire nation, obviously. I don't know how other departments operate. every department has different policies and procedures as far as how they handle things. Um, I want to take pride into saying that LAPD probably does one of the greatest jobs in as far as de-escalating situations or wanting us to de-escalate situations. There's a lot of videos out there that are probably controversial, but I know damn well that my department does a better job at doing so. Um, it just all depends. Like I said, you can be holding the line, and out of nowhere you get a bottle thrown, and it doesn't matter who throws that bottle. That entire crowd is pretty much at fault for being there. And like I said, although we try to diffuse the situation or try to de-escalate the situation, LAPD is not tolerating that. We're not getting bottles thrown at us. One officer has been severely injured. I want to say he suffered a concussion, went through surgery. I saw a picture of him yesterday. He got a bunch of stitches to it to his head because he caught a brick to the head.
Wow.
So there's been some officers injured. And although I don't think that I've ever heard of someone saying, "Hey, you know what? Today, like, I want to baton the shit out of somebody today," right? Like, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Um, Obviously, if it does need to happen, it happens. But you know, yeah, to be honest, I can't answer that question in regards to other departments. I could
Mm-hmm.
only speak upon and although I'm not the voice of LAPD, I'm just sharing my experiences with the people that I've been working so far. But
Definitely.
um, but like I said, these last few maybe as of like 2, 3 nights ago, it's been pretty peaceful. Hopefully it stays like that. Obviously, we don't ever want to hurt anyone. We don't go to work with the mentality of hurting anyone. But like I said, if it has to be done, it has to be done. Just because we're defending ourselves. But I mean, hey, if they want to keep protesting for another week and it stays peaceful, like last night, I didn't see any looting last night. As far as where I was at, I can't speak upon like the other squads that were out there, like in downtown area.
Man.
Um, but to be honest, they keep saying peaceful protests, and I'll tell you this much, not last night, but the night before, they were some quote unquote peaceful protesters, but everything they had in their bags was anything from screwdrivers to hammers to bricks to pipes. So they can seem peaceful, but in any moment, it seems like they're ready to rock and roll as well, you know?
Switching it up a little bit, then, who are some artists that you listen to before you get onto the shift? To get yourself pumped up.
Um, Man, if I don't have any phone calls, the one person that I do talk to every day I drive to work is my dad. He's a
Oh
truck
wow.
driver, so he's on the road himself, which is pretty dangerous as well. But yeah, I try to make my phone calls to my family members before I go in, and my drive is not too long from work, so it probably only takes 2, 3 calls, and then I'm at work.
Okay.
Um,
Let's go back into protests. Like general knowledge, what is the line of peaceful protests, and then when law enforcement has to come in, like immediately?
it could be anywhere from, like I said, if they start throwing things, we'll
Okay.
definitely take action. Um, I know on Friday we took rocks, we took bottles, we took fireworks. When they start lighting things up, um, now we're seeing a lot more where they start fighting amongst each other, and if someone's severely injured, obviously we have to do an extract.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looting. If there's a report of maybe a man with a firearm, which has happened, Friday some officers were shot at.
Wow.
Yesterday there were, I think some other officers were also shot at on Sunday. And then yesterday there was a firearm recovered. in between some bushes, like if like they had tactically like placed it there just in case. So that's another thing that we're looking out for, things that are left behind.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, things like that, we'll definitely go and take action.
Okay. How do you feel about the defunding of the police? Defunding.
It's unfortunate. I think that it's going to take a lot from the department, um, whether it's equipment, whether it's training, whether um, yeah, it's definitely going to take a toll on us. That's for sure. Which I don't understand how that came about, um, or how even that um, how is that even a question, or how is that even a topic?
Mm.
I think that the mayor went about that because he's under pressure, because there there are rumors that they want to reelect or get him out of the office. So
Mm.
he's definitely under pressure. So he has to compensate the people some way, somehow. And why not take it away from law enforcement, right? When in fact we had nothing to do with this incident. You know, it was definitely a very tragic incident.
Mm-hmm.
But we on this side or any other department didn't have at fault. Even Minnesota PD didn't have at fault. It was a choice of that one officer and the other three that were there at the time. You know.
Mm-hmm. So let's go into that question. Policing each other. What is the protocol or the procedure, if per se, if you do see something bad going on within the police within the department or just
I think LAPD does a very good job at disciplining its officers. Um, I don't think that actually LAPD is probably one of the strictest departments that I hear out there. Um, so whether it's officers policing each other or the community policing each other, you know, it goes both ways, and at the same time, it helps both sides.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's if you see someone else doing bad, do you report them or are you on their side kind of thing? I think that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, you're mandated to report whether it's something that it's out of policy. Yeah, for sure, you're mandated to report it to a supervisor. If not, you're basically at fault, just like that person, which is basically the same thing that happened in Minnesota.
There you go. What's your take on the quote? The police department is the biggest gang in America.
That quote has been around for quite some time now. Um, I mean, it goes both ways, and it kind of goes to where, what's your interpretation of a gang, right? But the actual definition, I don't know it verbatim, but it's basically two or more people in a group with the same logo or with the same, um, yeah, name or logo, committing crimes for the benefit of the gang. Um, I don't think we're considered a gang. I think that we're considered what we are, a department. Um, we're out there actually taking care of people that have to be taken care of, and it's kind of unfortunate that they want to generalize every department as to being the same when we don't even get the exact same training. Number one. Number two, we have different policies and procedures. Number three, I don't think that I've in the five years and a half that I've been working, I don't think that I've ever worked with someone that reads the type of call that comes out and says, "Oh, well, what's the name?" or is it a is it a black person, or is it an Asian person? Is it a white person? Oh, then I'm not going to that call. It just doesn't happen. It's kind of mind blowing when people want to call us racist. Even this, I'll go as far as saying even this incident, I don't think it was a racist thing. I don't think it was a racist um, incident. I don't think the officer was putting his knee for 8-10 minutes on George Floyd's back saying, "I'm gonna kill this black person." I just don't think so. I just think that he got caught in the moment. He got that tunnel vision. I don't think he thought that he was going to even kill him. There was definitely a lot of things that could have done differently that didn't happen, unfortunately, and that's why the outcome was whatever it was.
Yeah, well, man, see, and just you opening up the subject, I do appreciate it. Uh, let's talk a little bit about it, right? From the perspective of you, what would have been the right thing to do in that situation, or the correct thing, if that makes sense?
Um, we're trained since the academy days that once the cuffs are on, the fight is over, which means once the handcuffs are on, if the person's facing down, you are supposed to put them in a recovery position, whether it's a seated position or a standing position. Why? Because when you're laying flat on your chest for a long period of times, obviously you're preventing your chest walls from rising up and down and your lungs expanding as normally as they would, which would prevent you from getting enough oxygen, or obviously it's preventing the amount of oxygen you're getting into your system. So yeah, we're always trained since day one, um, to putting the person in a recovery position.
What is your take on crisis actors, Antifa, undercover cops dressed as rioters, bricks being placed in the city? What do you think, man?
I definitely want to believe that Antifa is a paid organization by political leaders. Um, and it only makes sense when you get protesters and you get rioters and you get looters from outside the state. I mean, why wouldn't you want to get paid to travel, number one,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then just go fuck shit up? You know, it's not like it's your own city, right? You're just gonna go trash up the place and go back home like it never happened. Um, so I definitely want to believe that Antifa pays their people to go out there and cause destruction and cause chaos. Um, I don't know about undercover officers being part of the the looters and rioters, and obviously I'm not gonna be able to give up some of our tactics that we use as a department, because then it defeats the purpose, as officers being undercover officers and what they do. But I will say that I don't think, and I don't, I'll go as far as saying that LAPD doesn't dress their officers to go out there and start looting things just to create more chaos. I don't see that happening. And no, I don't. No.
It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Probably some other situation. We're in
Yeah.
Hollywood. People can hire actors to do whatever it can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, intense. But you know what, Jay? I thank you so much for, like I said, taking the time and having a conversation with me. I appreciate everyone that came into the show right now and, was a part of it. Everybody out there, like I said, if you want, this is Jay. And if you want to go ahead and reach out to him, go ahead and you can add him, whatever it is. Jay's awesome. I hung out with Jay one time.
Thank you.
He's a great
Yeah.
guy. But I know you got to start getting going pretty soon. So I don't want to take too much of your time. But if you'd like, or if I can ask you, if you can just give us some words of the device and just what we can do to really just move forward from the eyes of the boys in blue,
Yeah, no, definitely. I probably have maybe another 10 minutes left.
Oh, cool.
But all I can say is that like I've told people that I've come across that have been very angry people when I first contact them, whether it's a traffic stop, whether they're walking, whether it's a radio call. Um, I've gotten a lot of people that are already upset at me just because I'm wearing the uniform that I'm wearing. And one of the questions I always ask is, why is it that you're so upset? What has made you so angry? And let me tell you, I'll tell people all the time, I'm not here to convince you to liking us. I just want to convince people into understanding what we do at the time of what we're doing, whether it is trying to get someone into custody, or whether it's we're holding a line like we've been holding a line since Friday. Some of our tactics are we basically base our actions on the person we're taking into custody's actions, right? If they want to fight us, we will fight back, and we won't fight fair. We will never fight fair. Um, if the person goes on with the program, then we'll treat them um, fair. At the end of the day, we're always gonna treat people like they're humans, and using force is never gonna be pretty. Using a baton is never gonna be pretty. It's not supposed to look pretty, but at the end of the day, put yourself in a situation where you call 911 and you say, "Hey, this guy just broke into my house," right? And he just happens to be walking down the street, and you see some officers rolling by, and you tell them, "Hey, this guy broke into my house." Um, what would happen if the person says, what if the suspect tells the officers like, "Hey, like I'm not going to jail," and the officers just happen to be like, "All right, um, go on your way." They come up to you, they're like, "Hey, sir, like the best we could do is give you a report." Like, no, motherfuckers, go snatch him up, take him to jail, because 5 minutes from now, he's gonna be breaking another person. Sorry, I got a phone call from my
Mm-hmm.
barber.
Oh.
Um, but um, yeah, you would wanna see the officers do anything within their power, within their policies and procedures to take this person into custody. Whether it's using a taser, whether it's using a less lethal round, you want to have that person in custody, because the last thing you want is for this man or this woman, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, you want them in jail because they just broke into your house. I mean, how violating is to feel that someone walked into your kingdom, right? Your house is your kingdom. Like, you live there. That's probably one of the most sacred places that you could ever be in. And for someone to come and intrude that place, like, I, it, no, you want them going to jail regardless. Yeah.
And so just going with that, like I said, Officer Jayy, you're the man. Thank you so much for giving me giving me the time of your day just to answer some questions. And definitely you answered a lot of questions that I had, and very much enlightened me to a perspective that I have no idea on. And I do thank you for coming on. I hope to talk to you again. And yeah, man,
Yeah,
if you just
most
want to take
definitely.
us out, thanks, bro. Heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely get together whenever I get a day off again.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I just try to stay happy about it. I know last night, I mean, you come to the time where you just don't care where you take a nap because you're tired. Whether it's in the back seat of a car, whether it's in the trunk. Last night I took a nap on the pavement against our bumper. You kind of just make the best of it, and you got to keep your spirit up. You surround yourself with the brothers and sisters that you work with, and you want to when you get that downtime, you start cracking jokes, and you kind of try to forget about the chaos for a little bit, and you know um, you just got to keep your spirit positive. Number one, because you want to keep your mind healthy, you want to stay focused. It's been some long days, but that doesn't take the fact, or it doesn't take away from us trying to go out there and still doing what we're supposed to do as coppers. I know today I'm not going to be part of the mobile field force, so I'm going to be answering radio calls, and you know, um, it doesn't matter the race. I'm still going to be responding out there. Um, I don't think any cop out there, like I said, looks at who's calling for our help. We're always going to be there no matter what. And like I said, I'm not here to convince people to liking us. I just want to convince people and to being able to understand the type of actions that we take sometimes as a department based on people's actions themselves.
Yeah, man. See, there. Thanks. Thank you for giving us your perspective. Everybody, this is Officer jayyjayj797 in the house right here, this COVID Empanada Radio. And
And don't forget to wave, and because we'll wave back. Give us a thumbs up. That's always a cheerful scene to see. You know, when we're rolling to wherever it is with their lights and sirens. Yeah, we see the Black Lives Matter signs, which Black lives do matter. Every life matters. We're all human beings, and you know, I don't think God sees us as individual races, and I don't want to include the spiritual world in this, but you know, I do have a man above me that I believe in, and I don't think that he sees us as an individual race. There is no race under his eyes, you know. He treats us all equally, and he cares for us all equally. So, yeah, man, we're out there, and smile and wave. We'll definitely wave back.